Does the TA have enough damage if you're good with the side blades to be able to kill off that bear a bunch of times? Is that a possibility? Because the melee hero, the bear itself is a melee hero and will need to be close to the wave.
I wouldn't really expect the bear to die or the lone druid to be under a lot of pressure, but at the same time, with the refraction, TA should have enough damage to at least get the CS she desires. So, it's not the best matchup, but at the same time, I would expect both parties in Kodos as well as Magical to just get what they want from the lane, which is just creeps.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense for me. Do you think with the lone druid as well as the Drow Ranger, instead of going for a later game timing like Navi were doing with their Drow Sniper, do they want to peek a tiny bit earlier here on the side of Empire?
Yeah, I think so for sure. And Shadow Shaman helps a lot with this as well. And now they go for a Tide, so they have a very solid frontliner. And I feel like Team Empire is setting up for a really strong mid-game timing.
Yeah, unlike, just getting a bunch of range heroes, it looks like they really will be able to fight together. But do they have a major answer to this TA? You said the lone druid that, they'll both just fine. But I've seen a bunch of TAs just snowball, and he's able to get on top of the Drow Ranger. She's fairly squishy, and she'll probably be able to kill her, right?
Yeah, for sure. They don't have the best answers against TA, where they have like some illusion hero or a hero that can very quickly take off the refraction charges. So they do have some answers, and they have a lot of early aggression as well, which is something that TA can struggle with. But there isn't a clear counter, so Magical could just end up taking over this game. And that's not even accounting for Crystallize yet.
Yeah, I hear you there. But Navi, they have the chance to pick their final hero. Is there anyone you think brings this draft together? Is there a carry who's, able to get on top of the Drow Ranger, or maybe provide the burst damage, or just be able to deal with the Tide Hunter in lane? Is there anyone who you think can do all of that?
I would love to see a crystallized Morphling. Looks like a pretty damn solid Morphling game. There is a Shadow Shaman, so that always sucks a little bit, but Morphling does pretty well in lane against Tide, skills pretty well against Drow, and doesn't really care too much about Lone Druid. It is a little bit greedy to have a TA Morphling, but at the same time, we've seen Navi run greedy lineups like this before to great success.
Yeah, that does sound like a good hero there. Obviously, might even go for the shotgun builds to take down some of these squishy heroes. But instead, they're going for a Weaver. We haven't seen a lot of this hero. What do you think its strengths are in general, and especially why they picked it in this?
Well, it's very hard to catch. That's the first thing. But at the same time, he's just so aggressive. Heroes like Drow and even Lone Druid, they can struggle a lot with just dealing with a bug, just getting on top of them. I am a little bit worried though, because Weaver relies a lot on just not being locked down, but there is a Gust on the Drow Ranger and there is a Shadow Shaman too. So if Crystallize does mess up a few times, he is super vulnerable to the hard disables on Team Empire.
Yeah, that is a really good point, because if he gets over aggressive on Dream gets off the silence, you might have enough raw damage to be able to take him down. To Crystallize, he's gonna have to play this fine line between able to get on top of the Drow Ranger but not letting himself get controlled.
Yeah, for sure. And Crystallize is one of if not the best carry in the CIS scene. So if anyone can do it, it's probably Crystallize.
Yeah, I believe in Crystallize. It is a great carry, but now we've seen both the full lineups. Navi, it's clear they pretty much want to be going for that early aggression. They have the Bat the Centaur, TA peaks pretty early as well as this Weaver. Do you think they're going to be able to do it? Are we going to see a game 3 here?
I'm not so sure about that one. There is always the wild card of Magical TA, which is just extremely good, but I feel like overall Team Empire's lineup might just be a little bit more well-rounded. That being said, I might just have jinxed Team Empire, and in that case, well, we're up for a more good Dota if we do go to a game 3.
So you're going for Empire, then I think I have to go for Navi. As you said, we're always in favor of more good Dota. So hopefully I'll, by saying Navi can do it, they'll know the casters are on their side. Because you've jinxed Empire, I've praised Navi, and we're right here into game number 2. And obviously we start with a pause.
Yep. Let's see, any special lanes? Doesn't really look like it. Looks like we're just gonna see the lone druid mid up against the TA. Nothing too special coming out in terms of starting items. We see the boots first on Shadow Shaman. This is actually quite common these days.
Why do you get the boots first? Are you looking for a first blood, or just so you're able to position to be able to get down that harass a lot?
Yeah, for sure. Because your base stats are so incredibly good on Shadow Shaman, starting with 660 HP and 74 damage. You don't really need to buy a lot of stats, and just having that extra bit of movement speed makes trading that much easier, because your attack range is quite short.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense to me, and Shadow Shamans, they do scale really well. You know, he'll probably end up with that Ether Lens, Blink if they want to initiate, or maybe BKB if, you know, he just wants to survive to get that long disable.
Yeah, for sure. The most common build we see on Shadow Shamans these days is Ether Lens into Blink, and I think this is another great game for it. Just being able to have that extra little bit of reach for your disables is just so good.
But we are waiting here with this pause, and you said the lanes look like they're going to be standard. Do you think if there is anything any team are able to do to weird in lanes that will net them an advantage, or even if they mix up the lanes, it will be basically the same?
Yeah, I think so, because when you look at Empire's lineup, you're mostly thinking about the Bat, because he's gonna be the most, the hero is gonna pressure the most in lanes. But if you look at Empire's heroes, they have an Abaddon as well as a Tidehunter, so both lanes are gonna be able to purge the Napalm stacks. I don't feel like it matters too much.
It's looking spicy.
Yeah, it looks like Navi are having a tiny bit of connection issue. While Empire having the connection issues, while Navi they're busy drawing on the map, so their spirits they still look to be decently high even after that game 1. But coming here into a best of 3, losing the first one, do you want to just talk to me quickly about that mentality? Do you get reinvigorated because you know you have 2 more matches, you have the ability to turn it around, or do you feel, you know, even losing that first match, it puts on a bit of a downswing?
I mean, it kind of depends on in which way you lose a game. If you just get stomped in 10 minutes, you can be like, alright, whatever, we're just gonna win the next games. But if you lose like a 90-minute game that you feel like you should have won, it's kind of tough. But I don't feel like last game was... it's gonna feel too terrible for Navi, so should be fine. They're a pretty experienced team as well, so...
You'll have to
Yes, and with that ending, it looks like the game is finally underway. Blizzy, is he going to the mid lane? Is he going to look to get these retaliate stacks off the tower, as we see some people do? Because I think that's what he might be doing.
I think so. It's always an option, but it looks like Empire is going to be ready for it, because so many Centaurs do it these days. So Empire is just bringing 4 heroes. Are they going to set up something juicy?
Yeah, it looks like they see Blizzy. And oh, Madden leveled the level 1 Gush. King on, they're not able to get quite on top of anyone. I have to ask, this level 1 Gush level, is that going to hurt Madden lane a lot?
It's probably going to hurt him a little bit, but at the same time, it's a pretty good level 1 spell, so it's going to give him a little bit of power fighting for the runes. Especially if he does have the Shadow Shaman in his lane, then just the 110 damage as well as the armor reduction isn't gonna be that detrimental to his laning, because it means that...
Yeah, I guess that makes sense to me. One question I do have for you is, Navi, they have put Zayax here in the top lane. Would you have tried to avoid the Abaddon matchup, or you don't really mind?
You don't really mind, because you're not gonna have fun against the Tide either, so might as well try to pressure the Drow Ranger a little bit, even if it's not ideal.
Okay, so the side of Navi, they do have 3 people here in this top lane. They smoke up actually on Zax as well as Seneko. Seneko, he doesn't have a deep ward. Is he aiming to wrap around on mid? Or
Yeah, he could just try to take down the courier here, and it looks like that's exactly what he's gonna try to do. And if he does get the courier and Magical gets some nice side lanes, Kodos could be under a lot of pressure here. He only has 2 tangos.
yeah, Empire, they haven't realized about this. The courier with the salve is coming out. And Seneko, he's going to be able to kill that courier. And there's no salve here for Kodos.
That's super well done by Seneko. It's quite an unexpected move too. You don't really expect your courier to die as a lone druid.
Yeah, because you're right. You don't really think of him as a hero who relies on the courier, who needs that regen. But just, you know, the one early salve, the one item he's probably going to bring out to himself, denying that, as well as the gold you give to your whole team. Pretty damn nice.
At the same time, if he positions his hero correctly on Kodos, he shouldn't take too much damage from the side blades. So it's not as detrimental for a lone druid as it would be for something like a Shadow Fiend in this early game.
This Shadow Shaman of Seiyu here in the bottom lane, just the level 1 Thunderstrike as well as Kusai. He's been trying to use that Juchi to pressure him a lot. He's getting pretty damn low.
I feel like both teams should try to get a lot of sticks in this bottom lane as soon as possible. Because both teams are just gonna be spamming out their skills. To Nico.
Over here, they have the shackles with the level 2 over here in Seiyu. And Mahajan, he needs a little bit more mana, but no, I take it back. He just has more than enough damage. It looks like Crystallize, he's trying to get forward with that Shuchi. He knows Seiyu went through the trees. And no, he actually doesn't get the last right click. The stick pop there from Seiyu, you were totally right. The stick able to save the Shadow Shaman's life. So that is going to be first blood going over to the side of Empire.
Yeah, and Shadow Shaman is fine. Very well played by him. Tide could be under a little bit of pressure though, now that Shadow Shaman is gone, because he doesn't have that Kraken shell yet.
Yeah, and Seneko, now that he's come back to lane, they have managed to get rid of the sentry that their Empire had down to detect Crystallize while he was in that situation. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Dream, he's in a lot of trouble here. What is affected by the Sticky Napalm is getting killed. The Abaddon, he still hasn't hit level 2. There is no way for the shield to get rid of this Sticky Napalm. A lot of heals, though, from that Mist Coil is going to be able to save the life of Dream. Sorry, you were trying to say something before you're so rudely interrupted by Navi trying to get a kill.
Well, it looks like Kodo's bear is actually getting really low here. He does have a resummon, so he is gonna go for it now. But now, if he does die...
his bear. His main hero is very low here.
He does have the self now, the clear respawn, so he should be fine.
Oh, and again in the top lane, King R, he still doesn't have that Aphotic Shield, not level 2. And now Dream, they might just try hunt him down. Not a lot of mana left on Zax, but he does have the Mango if he feels the need to pop it. With Firefly wearing off, they're just going to be okay. But ISO, this Abaddon countered the Batrider, but looks like he was out of mana. But now he's hit level 2 with the Aphotic Shield, maybe things will be a tiny bit better.
If you do mess up on Abaddon, it's still very easy to die. Because Abaddon is a super high risk hero. You mess up once with your Aphotic Shield and Mist Coil and you just die. It's cool to get the denies, but it's also very risky.